Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Esther Darius.
And my name is Barry Darius.
And this is B&E's House,
where we establish fun, fulfillment, and foundation in your life and your marriage. And today, what are we talking about?
We are talking about who leads the marriage.
Interesting. Interesting topic.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to talk about this idea of whether or not marriage actually has a leader in it. And if there is a leader, who should be the one following? So if you think this is an interesting topic and you want to know what in the world we're about to talk about next, hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified of everything B&E House related. Like the video and let us know what your thoughts are. So let's get into the message today.
So when you bring up the topic of who leads in the marriage, I kind of wanted to introduce the discussion of the institution of marriage, right?
Okay.
And to kind of define institution is it's an organization. It even can be an establishment or a foundation or even a practice of a custom that kind of portrays towards a particular cause, a purpose, or principle. An institution is universal. And at every institution, there is a leader.
Oh, okay.
You know?
But why bring up institution? Like, what are some examples?
So, I mean, some examples of, institution could be family institution, educational institution, political institution, etc.
Okay.
So, again, at every one of those institutions, there is a leader.
So marriage is an institution which has a leader. Okay, so then what is a leader? So if we have marriage, there is a leader. What is the leader doing? Because for me, what I think a leader is someone with a vision that I'm willing to follow from one place to another.
Follow me.
What would you say?
I would absolutely agree with that.
Okay.
And I would also add that, simply a leader leads. A leader provides a direction for those who are following him to be able to know where they're going.
Right.
Without direction, without clarity, where are we going? Everything rises and falls on leadership.
Oh, that's true. I get what you're saying because, and we also got to think about it. Being a leader comes with a lot of roles and responsibilities.
It does.
You have to be willing to inspire, give direction, cultivate, like you said earlier, I think there's just so much that you have to do in managing as a leader.
Right.
And then to understand, okay, if all of this has to happen, and all of this is part of the institution of marriage, I guess the next question I'd say, who is that person? And does marriage truly have a leader?
Right. And so marriage does have a leader. And, agreeing with what you just said, a leader brings the best out of whoever that they're leading and cultivate the people around them. And traditionally and both biblically as well, the man has always been the one who leads the marriage and also leads the household.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Wait, hold up. So if the man leads, and if the man leads in the marriage, in the relationship, so does that make me the woman less than?
No, it does not. I mean, remember, a leader is one who cultivates those that he leads.
Okay.
Right? But we also have to understand that marriage is a partnership, right? It is a partnership. But even in business partnerships, there's only one CEO, right?
Right.
There's only one owner. There's only one president, right? But what the partnership indicates is that that your contribution and the value that you bring is of the same equal value as the one who provides the vision.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And I agree. I think what we have to realize is that I am not less than as the woman. And like you said before, and I agree, It just means that we both are equal partners. However, there is one who is leading the vision that was already preordained or understood, or, you know, like in business, was already voted on. And now that one person has to hold both of us accountable to lead us from point A to point B.
Providing direction,
Yeah, so okay, I agree. I agree with that. So then the next question I have is, what does submission look like in marriage then? You know, now that we're talking about, okay, the man should be leading, all right? So then if you're leading, we live in a world where we always hear women have to submit unto your husband, submit. Okay, but then what about you? So what does that look like in marriage? What do you think?
Well, so as a leader, right, I'm overseeing, I'm taking care of, and I'm providing the direction for those who is following me and those who I'm leading, right? But in the same manner, I'm doing that in a role of servant leadership, right? And so as the man and as the husband, I am putting myself and willing to be able to not only love you and take care of you, but also sacrifice myself. Because when we got married, it became a union. We became one, right? So as the leader of the marriage, I also have to be willing to put myself to sacrifice myself for the one to whom that I'm leading.
I love that. Okay, so let's break this down, guys. Yes, women, we are supposed to submit unto our husbands. But remember, we're submitting to that vision that what we already established, that he is holding us accountable to lead us to that place. But not only are we submitting to the vision and the fact that we trust him to take us there, we're submitting to the fact that he's willing to sacrifice whatever for us, the household, and the vision. You see, like when we talk about it like that, it's starting to make sense now, because I'm starting to see marriage, like you said, as that institution. If we look at it as the way business works, you start to realize that that leader is doing everything that he said he was going to do.
So
I love that. Good job,
as the wife is submitting under the leader and the vision, the leader himself is submitting in a way to where he is serving in a manner to where, you know, I'm willing to sacrifice for the cultivating and the caretaking of the one who I am leading and overseeing.
And then I also like that you use the word servant leader. We always think that leaders are supposed to be leading in the front, right? And we're just supposed to follow. But a true leader first starts as a servant. And we can get that example from Jesus Christ. He first served. And then it led people to follow him as a leader. And I think if my spouse is putting himself in a position to serve me, it is much easier for me to follow him.
Correct.
Okay, babe. Okay, that's just
good. There you go.
All right. Okay, so the next question is there a difference between a leader in the household and a leader in the marriage?
That's a good question.
Because sometimes we think, because we live so much in the house, that is marriage. Marriage is not just in the household. And I'm going to answer first. I do believe there's a difference. Don't think because you're married and now y'all living in a place, this house is a representation of marriage. It's not. This is where we reside. And yes, we have to take care of it, and it's a replication of our marriage. But I think marriage is the relational aspect.
The union.
The union.
The covenant.
Thank you. What do you say?
I would say I would agree. You know, we just kind of establish who the leader of the marriage is, and the person who is leading the marriage and providing a vision for the marriage. And I think that's one of the issues that a lot of relationships have, is there's no vision for the marriage. You know, there's a vision for everything else except for the marriage. Like, where are we going? What are we to do?
And I do want to say this. We do have a video that is out that talks a little bit about that says, do we share the same goals? And after this video, if you have not seen it, definitely check it out, because it talks about everything that we're talking about. You know, we have to share the same values and goals in order to know, hey, are we going the same way?
Right.
Right.
You know, and so with that being said, now the leader of the household is, you know, the household is typically everyone to whom that I am responsible for and accountable for. So it could, you know, not just include my wife, but also my children. Maybe I have, you know, a parent. You know, I could have nieces and nephews.
The pets.
Right. As for me and my household, like we shall, you know, establish these laws and principles to which that we're going to follow. Right. And the vision for the household, right, will be pertaining to the direction that, you know, we want to be able to go towards.
Yeah, and like I said before, the household is a replication of what the leader's doing. So now if things are out of order and things are not looking the way that they should, that is an indication of the style and the leadership of that person. Like you said, everything rises and falls on leadership. So if that person is not standing firm and making sure that everything in the house is following the vision, that means we all look crazy, okay? We're all going to look bad, and then guess who else looks bad? The person who is the leader, the CEO. He's the one who now has to get the backlash. When things don't look good, they're gonna come to you and be like, bruh, why your wife look crazy?
Exactly.
You know, why your kids look crazy? I just saw your dog leave. He ran away.
And it's, and like I said before, you know, leadership is not dictatorship. You know, leadership is not dictatorship. So, you know, just going around and yelling and trying to be controlling and trying to be manipulative and all these things and deceptive, that is not what's going to make you a leader. You know, what makes a true and effective leader is, first and foremost, you have to have the vision. You know, you have to be willing to sacrifice for those to whom that you are leading genuinely, and those who are following you.
I agree.
Right? And you know, you have to be able to establish effective principles to which people can be able to, the people that you're leading can be able to follow.
And remember, like we said, marriage is a partnership. Do not walk away from this video only hearing leader, leader, leader. But in that partnership, I'm willing, like I said before, to submit to the vision and the marriage and the leader who I've decided to marry. You know what I mean? So then the next question we're gonna ask is, what happens when the leader does not have an answer to critical questions during the marriage that potentially can change the trajectory of marriage? I know that was long, but in layman's terms, what if the leader just don't have the answer? How can I follow someone who don't have the answer that can literally change everything in the household, the marriage? Like, what do I do? You know, for me, it is hard. It is hard to think that I can go to my husband and he may not actually have an answer. And it puts me in a position of, okay, I'm supposed to submit, but then he's a little indecisive. So how can I submit under something that is making me a little bit uncomfortable, you know? And I think both parties have to start to should be able to have an open relationship and dialogue to be like, hey, we need to talk about this situation because I don't see you handling it the way that I think you should. And now, sometimes we think that the leader is supposed to take on all the burden, but just like in a business, he still has other people around him that is able to help bring about the vision.
Exactly, and I think that's where we kind of get into the leader types, right? In which we kind of have an understanding of, well, what type of leader is my spouse, right? Because in understanding the type of leader, right, then you'll be able to help support and help to be able to drive and motivate that type of leader. You know, and you know, everyone has a different type of leadership style. You can have someone who they like in helping others, right, and helping to build others up. You have other leader types where someone who they like to establish, you know, an infrastructure. They like to support people.
And I actually have an example of that. I had a friend, and these are what I think their leadership style was, but I believe he was a help leader. He loves helping people. But I believe his wife was a creative. Like, she loved being creative. She was very innovative. And during the pandemic, you know, they do photography, and they decided to do something that no one has done before.
Yeah.
And it was creative, it was innovative. Like I said, I've never seen it before.
Right.
And I think by her doing that, it pushed him to continue to help people.
Right.
So knowing what the other spouse kind of how they lead is the same way that you know their love language.
Right.
They're completely different. You think you're talking to the right type of leadership style or talking to the right love language, but you're probably not.
Right, and that's where, like you said, the communication has to come in.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you know, a leader is the one that establishes the vision. Sometimes it may take a while for the person who is in position to be able to establish a vision. Mm-hmm. So this is where you give the proper motivation, the proper encouragement to say, hey, you know, we have a certain problem, we have a certain issue. What are your thoughts in addressing this?
Exactly.
You know?
And let's work it out together.
Right.
Yeah, remember guys, it's still a partnership. Let's work it out together.
Yeah.
So, did we answer the question?
I mean, I think so, you know.
Like, I really hope you guys got something out of this to realize that marriage does have leadership. And if you're gonna get married, you need to know that you guys should be growing, you guys should be cultivated, you should be moving.
And for the men, like, you should have a vision established for yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to get married, be able to have a vision established for the marriage. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you can kind of try to, you know, be ahead of the curve and have a vision for the family when you have children. Yeah. Right? So, you know, it's very important to kind of have these things established so that when you enter into the institution of marriage, things will be ran, you know, effectively, smoothly, properly, and, you know, everything will work out, you know? Yeah, and that's leadership, period. So I'm willing to follow you because you're doing a great job. And I pray that all of you guys who are watching also have someone that you're willing to follow. And if you're not, let's talk about it. You should talk to your spouse. And also understand, there's not, you know, one way of leading, right? We just kind of spoke about different leader types. So there's different ways to lead, right? But it's all dependent on the person who's leading. You know, it's all depending on the situation, the circumstances, what you have around you. Yeah. Leaders have to also be able to adapt, you know? They have to be able to adapt, and they have to be able to address and problem solve in the midst of situation, you know? And with adapting, you have to realize in marriage, it changes constantly. So. The answer is not to run, to adapt, all right? Be patient, be patient, it's gonna work out. So that is all that we have for you guys today. Once again, please subscribe, please tell your friends and family, and I want to hear what y'all have to say about leadership in marriage. Does it exist to you? Do you feel like what we're saying is hoopla, or do you say, come on, y'all preaching? So please let us know, put your comments down below and let us read it. Right? Yeah, we'll read it. We'll read it. So that is all we have today. So peace. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Peace. All right. Bye.